Today I will be talking about Tourette syndrome and how it affects those who have it. Imagine trying to hold in a sneeze. Not easy, is it? Now imagine that same feeling, but instead of a sneeze, you're holding in an involuntary noise or movement. This is something that people with Tourette's deal with daily. Tourette is defined by the National Institute of Neurological Disorders as a neurological disorder characterized by stereotyped, repetitive, and involuntary movements called tics. This disorder affects roughly 138,000 children ages 6 to 17 and is more common in children than adults. It is also 3 to 4 times more likely to be found in males than females. According to Kevin Black, a neurology professor at Washington University, in order to be diagnosed with Tourette's, you must have both motor and vocal tics, and they must be present for at least 1 year. Tics can go away with age and are either simple or complex. The Israel Journal of Psychiatry and Related Sciences state that simple tics are sudden movements such as blinking, shoulder shrugs, and head jerking, while complex tics consist of several simple tics occurring in an orchestrated sequence such as touching or tapping. Tics tend to worsen when someone is stressed or excited and become better when they are calm or focused. They can also still be present during sleep but are greatly diminished. Now that you have a better understanding of what Tourette's is, I will now talk about the history. The 19th century brought attention to many mental disorders, including Tourette's. Gilles de la Tourette was training under Dr. Charcot at a guidance hospital in France. While studying various neurological disorders, he came across a disorder characterized by stereotyped movements and sudden outbursts of emotion. According to the Tourette Association of America, Tourette published his findings to a medical journal in 1885, which brought light to the disease that we now know as Tourette's. He based his findings off of 9 patients that he observed over a period of time. During this time, he observed childhood onset, stereotype movements, and the worsening and betterment of tics. It was also later discovered that those that have Tourette's are also commonly diagnosed with other mental illnesses, such as OCD, ADD, and ADHD. During this time period, mental illnesses were believed to be a consequence of somebody's wrongdoings or the possession of an evil spirit. And shortly after the journal was published, Dr. Charcot named the disorder in honor of his student. Finally, I will talk about how Tourette's can be treated and some common misconceptions associated with the disorder. There is no cure for Tourette's, but there are many treatments that can lessen the severity of the tics. According to the Mayo Clinic, treatment is aimed at controlling tics that interfere with everyday activities and functioning, and treatment is not necessary unless the tics are severe. Some common treatments include those that lessen or block dopamine. Botox injections are also common treatments which can be injected into certain muscles that help alleviate the symptoms of simple and vocal tics. ADHD medication and antidepressants are also common treatments. Another form of treatment besides medication is therapy. Behavior therapy is to teach individuals to control and monitor their tics, and there is another treatment called deep brain stimulation, which is described by the Mayo Clinic as deep brain stimulation as the implanting of a battery-operated medical device into the brain to deliver electrical stimulation. This is a more drastic treatment and is less common and is also still being tested for results. The LA Times published an article in 2010 that found that self-hypnosis may also help people with Tourette's. This focuses on relaxation techniques, so when an individual feels a tic coming on, it helps them visualize pushing it away. And as with many mental illnesses, Tourette's has many misconceptions surrounding it. The first one being that everyone that has Tourette's shouts obscenities, and this is because that's typically how they're portrayed in movies, when in reality this happens very rarely. Another is that people with Tourette's are either disabled or unintelligent, which is also not true because those with Tourette's are just as successful and intelligent as anybody else. So although Tourette's is a neurological disorder with no cure, more common in children, there are treatments available. It affects roughly 138,000 children and is not a very well-known disease. And although it's associated with other mental illnesses, those with Tourette's tend to lead normal lives. After learning more about what Tourette's is, the history, treatments, and common misconceptions, I hope we can work together to alleviate the negative stereotypes surrounding the disorder.